Nailing It Classroom Careers is produced by students and staff of Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School in Marlborough, Massachusetts.
So, since we spoke last, we've livened up the radiant heat downstairs, which involved tying in all of our loops. There are 4 loops, feeds and returns. We tied it into the existing heating system, and we livened that up. So now we have radiant heat coming up from our concrete floor. Working on setting up our hangers for our new water main, which the students are going to put into place so that we can get our water feed to our new sink when they're ready for it. They've turned on the new hot water main, which we needed to do because the old piping was old brass piping, and we need to tie in the new hot and cold to the existing water lines, which we can't do if it's old brass where it's brittle. So they put in a new ProPress water system, and today they're actually working on troubleshooting hot water issues where certain faucets there's no hot water.
My group likes to sing, yeah.
Happy trails to you.
Happy trails to you.
Before we meet again.
Happy trails to you. Until we meet again.
Out here, usually one of us starts singing, and then the rest of us start going, and it's a good time. Builds camaraderie for the job.
It came from one time when we were at the old site back in Marlborough, if you know where the Marlborough water treatment is. We were on a bus on the way there with Mano, and Careless Whisper by George Michael came on, and me and one other student knew the song, so as it went on, we just started singing along, and then it turned into like a whole chorus. So then, ever since then, we just kind of sing random songs, and everyone just picks up on it. Well, today, it was actually Oliver. He was standing right here, and he just started singing I Want It That Way, and I heard it, and I started singing along, and then everyone just started singing along.
Like a chain reaction almost.
It just keeps going. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never want to hear you say I want it that way.
OPP comes on a lot. The rinky dink, I forget what the name is, but sometimes when we're on the bus we switch it up and we listen to talk shows sometimes. Like this morning there was one where they call people's old hookups. It was very interesting.
It's a pretty, it's an awesome group, pretty loose group. We did, they did do a public appearance at the senior living down near school. The Branches, I think it's called. So they went down, they did a few Christmas carols, so they did very well. Did very well with that, but it's not uncommon for them to be singing on the bus, so. I'll join them, but I'm not very good, but we do it anyways, but it's all good.
All right, Yvonne, stop warming up. We can usually carry our group.
I'm feeling like a little kid, and I'm still standing after all this time. Picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up? Every good girl needs a little love. Every black boy needs a little love. If you put it down, I'ma pick it up, up, up.
I'd just like to make a shout out to all my Irish friends. That's why I'm wearing my Irish hat here for St. Patty's Day. So hello, Irish friends. Basically what we're doing right now is that senior students are back in here. We've had about a week and a half's worth of time back here, both with juniors and seniors. And we're working on several pieces of casework that are going into the Southborough Senior Center. One of the pieces is a large 8-foot-long credenza unit, about 3 feet high, which we can show you later here, along with a TV surround for an 85-inch television. We also have 2 base cabinets, one 6-foot unit with a plastic laminate countertop, as well as a second unit, basically 6 feet long, that's going to allow for ADA accessible access to a sink, along with a cabinet on either side of it. So the nice thing about this is that it gives all of our students a chance to do what I call the other side of our trade. Up till this point, we've been doing all construction, from framing, siding, roofing, insulation, window install, things like that. This is another half of our trade that students can certainly get employed in some type of a cabinet shop or a millwork shop. And I think it's valuable experience for our students to have a chance to do that. And as you notice later on, I'll show you some of the work that the students are doing. And we're not talking about just a simple cabinet. We've got some pretty high-end casework that the students have been working on.
On the project, we've been learning how to make the cabinets and how to kind of like make it. You just make it, and the steps to make it, whether you want to do it or not, and whether it's what you're interested in. Last week on the outside job, we were just out there puttying, or not puttying, we were putting up drywall and then screwing it up and all that, but then in here it's way different. This is kind of on the finished carpentry side, and then the drywall is just doing drywall. It's just not anything close to making cabinets or anything else in the shop. Working with all my fellow students is very nice. You see my boy Aiden right there. You can't see him, but it's my boy. It's very nice. It kind of makes the environment better because you kind of just know everybody, and it's not like you're sitting there just by yourself working. You can talk to people and have them help you and all that.
You know, on this project, I mean, obviously our initial goal on this project was to build this 2-room addition for the senior center, you know, all the construction end of it and so on. As far as the interior finish work, that's something that we've actually taken on ourselves to make it bigger and better. It was far less decorative from what the original plans called for, and basically talking to the client at Southborough Senior Center, saying, look, we can make this look a lot nicer. We can step up all the interior finish if you want us to do that. And the idea is that on any one of those 4 pieces of casework, there were multiple groups of students working on and fabricating pieces and parts to it. Now, I could have had 2 students build the entire cabinet 100%, but instead I had groups of 2 students, or maybe 2 or 3, work on a particular part of it. Maybe they were working on the side of the cabinets, they were working on the face frame, they were working on this, working on that, maybe the countertop. So by doing that, it's kind of teaching students that we're all having to work together, that your part of the project has to be perfect because your part is going to marry up to what somebody else did and then what somebody else did. So it's kind of like, if you think of like the automobile industry, you know, you've got a whole production line. One person doesn't make a car by themselves. So here, same thing. I have all my students working on multiple facets of each of the 4 units, and when it all comes together, you know, they can say they had a part of each one of the 4. Especially at the senior level, it's just kind of like the icing on the cake for their skill level. So if they can do some of this custom casework, custom millwork, I just think it's going to be an added plus for them. And the nice thing is when we start doing all the interior trim on the job site, a lot of the techniques that they're learning here, as far as all the head trim, the crown moldings, all of that, they're going to be doing it again out there in the actual trim and on the windows, doors, wainscoting, all of that. So.
P&D program is all about painting, wallpapering, doing interior design. We also have a sign shop where we can do any type of signage, banners, lettering trucks.
We definitely have fun here, but it's also a lot of hard work, and we're very focused on getting it done and getting it done in a certain time frame. But we definitely have our fun and joke around.
Are you missing an eyelash?
Yeah, I am.
What we're doing out here is doing the painting end of a project that carpentry, electrical wiring, plumbing have all worked on. Favorite part of working here is seeing the finished product. Seeing kids, you know, take something from start to finish
at a very high quality level. All right, what we're going to do is, listen, do these outside edges first, both edges, and then bring the crown and this face across. And as you're doing it, keep a wet edge, but nice long strokes, nice long finishing strokes, okay? All right. All right? Okay. All right. Actually, what we've done is we've put 2 coats on the ceiling, and we're going to do one more final coat on the ceiling, and then we got to go around and do a 3rd coat on all the trim. And I'm still waiting on a wall color right now. So really, the walls just have primer on them. So kind of that's where we're at right now. And we're just waiting on, I think, a carpet sample to come in so that we can get a final color, maybe, and an approval for a wall color.
The Vocational Culinary Arts Slider Challenge, 3rd annual. And the schools, what they do is they make their sliders, they decorate their table, put their burgers in a hotel pan, and we actually, when we first did it, we had 105 guests come in for that event, and it was pretty cool. And as you can see, we have Upper Cape Cod Tech right here. This is their burger right here. We have BVT, the nacho burger right here. Over here we have Shashin Tech, and then we have ours over here. This is a restaurant for BVT, and today for the event, the folks are coming in, they're going to get a ticket, and this is how the voting is going to happen. So the customer's going to go into the restaurant, into the kitchen, get a bunch of burgers, try them, and then at the end, they fill out their winning ticket, they give it to the host, then they'll tally up the votes later on. So here's the trophy. So whoever wins the trophy, their name gets placed on it, and then they get to keep it in their restaurant for about a year until the next slider challenge. And as you can see, we got plenty of room, so we're going to be doing this for a bunch of years to come.
You get the
Perfect. Thanks, Pat.
We're installing 2 mini split heat pumps. Mini split heat pump, it's a unit that hangs on the wall. It puts hot air or cold air in the space, whether it's heating or cooling. Requires no ductwork, so they're pretty simple to install. So we put one on this side of the addition, and we put one on the other side of the addition, hoping that they're gonna work together and cool the space, or heat the space. Mr. Colson gave me the building plans for this, my 1st or 2nd week teaching at Assabet, so I had a good idea of what was going on. One of the challenges we had is that they have a beam that's going in the middle of the addition, so we were originally gonna have 1 outside unit to 2 inside units, but there was no way for us to run our line sets or piping. So we made the decision to have 2 separate units so that everything is just run right outside to here, nice and easy. It's been great working with Mr. Colson.
Good that you got involved in the project out here. Thought it was a great project, certainly for your students to get involved in, things like that. So I think the route that we ended up going with the 2 separate condensing units, do you like the idea of having it as 2 separate units as compared to trying to run this off of a single unit?
Yeah, 100%. We didn't have to drill any holes or try to get around the beam inside. Also, it's a shorter run from the inside unit to the outside unit, so I think that was the way to go. It made it nice and easy for us.
No, that's good. I'm kind of glad we didn't have to consider ahead of time running all the lines from one condensing unit to the second head.
Right.
So, any issues in the process, or everything goes smooth?
Everything went smooth. The pads you guys poured for us were absolutely perfect. Everything was lined up. Couldn't have been any better.
Good.
It was great.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you, and we'll have more work for you in the future.
That sounds great.
Excellent. All right.
Nice working with you.
You too. Nice working with you.
Also work with Mr. Mano and the electrical students. They brought their power out, so the gray disconnect is what they brought out from the basement, and they hooked up to our condensers. We ran the power from the inside out, and they brought power out there. We did help plumbing. They had an issue with their radiant heat that they had just installed, so we're able to help them diagnose a faulty circulator. They changed the circulator out, and we just checked everything to make sure it was all set. So we worked with all trades. On-the-job training is probably the most important training that we can provide. It's a lot more difficult to replicate these things in shop, but they're installing a unit just like that would be in anyone's house or a commercial building. They're learning how to properly use HVAC tools, learning how to flare. We bought a new electronic flaring tool that they're using, as well as our new vacuum pumps and our new touchscreen gauges. So they're learning how to use those things. They're learning how to evacuate and leak check a system. So once we connect our pipes, they pressure test the lines with dry nitrogen. We don't use oxygen because it has moisture in it. We don't want any moisture in our refrigeration lines because they create acid. So they're leak checking the system, and then they're evacuating everything down using a method called a triple evacuation method. So we vacuum the system down in 3 stages, releasing the vacuum with dry nitrogen to help make sure all the moisture and non-condensables are out of the lines before we allow refrigerant to flow through.
We're really learning how to take a real-life project from shop and really amplify it to the real world. Because in shop we have like smaller projects, and now we can work on an actual house so we can see the challenges and differences. There's a lot higher details that we have to do to keep everything level and straight. Because in like shop, everything can be like kind of crooked, like not really look nice. But it has to be, in real life, it has to be like precision, straight, everything has to be level, flat. Working in other shops is kind of like working on a construction site. Wow, there's like a bunch of different aspects that all comes together to work, like make a big whole thing. It gives me like experience to work with an actual client and how to talk with people instead of just working and not talking with the client. I want to be an oil technician and work on big systems that have oil go flying through it to keep, it's a lot of heating actually, heating and natural gas. Heating and natural gas is a lot of tight pipes that go around area to take the air, heat it up.
Right now what we're doing is we're putting in mini splits and just need to make sure they work, and we're going to check for voltage later, and then we're going to turn them on, and hopefully that brings in heating and air conditioning to this house. As a student, I'm learning how to basically wire and make stuff so people can have air conditioning and heating in their own house, and we're basically learning how to do that in the real world. It's definitely helpful working with other shops because we get to see what they do as opposed to having them see what we do. A lot of time is spent pulling vacuums and adding and taking out refrigerant and taking out valves and everything. My plans are to go into the refrigeration field after.
I love hands-on work. I love technology, and the fact that this shop follows a model that we can create anything. I really love that approach of things, and I just really found the whole aspect of manufacturing, from just the hands-on work, from the terminology, the technology we use, the tools, the fact that we are all about precise machining, which I like to be precise in my works. It was just fantastic.
To go up into the International Space Station. So I applied for it. We had to make some parts for them, have the students get certified to show that they can make parts at the quality that NASA's looking for. And then once we hit that level of quality, then we went into production making parts for them.
I enjoyed every single day coming to the shop. My instructor gave me the best experience ever, taught me the best things I needed to be good at what I'm doing, and he gave me fantastic projects to work on, build my confidence in these machines, confidence in the shop, in the field, as well as just being just an independent worker who can do stuff on his own. And recently, for almost 8 or 7 months, I've been part of a NASA program called Hunch, where they hire multiple schools like our school or many vocational schools to make parts for the salad they're going to launch into space. And they hired our school was one of the lucky ones to be part of the program. And I was the spearhead of the project in the school by making parts for NASA. This is just a prototype version of the parts that I made. The real part is made of steel, but this one's made of aluminum. So this is where I did most of my prototyping, fixing issues, and all that stuff. We recently shipped the final batch of parts to a NASA facility in Houston, Texas, so where they're going to further inspect the parts. So we haven't heard from them yet, but hopefully that everything goes well and they put the parts in the satellite and they launched into space. So it's a big deal, but that was the best project I ever did in my entire 4 years at Assabet.
Well, so now that the project is coming to a completion here, I think the clients were thrilled with the outcome of the project as far as the final design, the final detail work in it. Not only the people here that work at the Senior Center, but also the senior citizens who come here on a nearly daily basis have made a lot of comments about the way that the project came out. They're so thrilled with it, they can't wait to come in and start using the space. Going into this project initially, I couldn't wait to get the project started because I knew it was going to be a good project from day one, and it's been a great project all through the entire process. Not only the carpenters, but all the other trades that got involved too, the electricians, plumbers, HVAC and painters, and we're thrilled to have been here. I think the project has been a win-win for the community, for the school, for our students, and I'm thrilled, and I couldn't have asked for a better project for this year.